So if you guys are new here, I really like my iPad Pro, got me through graduate school. My MacBook Pro does everything for me here on the channel involving YouTube and a lot of my clinical work as a therapist as well. However, on a day-to-day basis, I usually side with Android phones, Galaxy phones. They just do more for me and what I'm looking for in a phone on a day-to-day basis. That being said, I do like iPhones. They are very good phones. When I saw the iPhone 16 and the minimal updates, I didn't see much of a reason to upgrade from my 15 Pro Max, which is overall a really good device. The studio mode with the 4 microphones in the 16 sounds really good. There's surprisingly quite a few things I actually like on the iPhone 16, but still I feel like the device as a whole is being short-sold because Apple really doesn't want to unleash the beast. If you guys are new here, my name is Dave and this is where tech meets lifestyle. The Pro Raw Log video format that you're getting on last year's iPhone 15 and this year on the iPhone 16 are hands down some of my favorite video format shooting on any phone today. Last year I absolutely loved it. It's just the closest thing that you're really getting professional looking camera, like a DSLR camera like my Sony a7 IV that I usually shoot on. Just the way that it captures color depth and shadows looks awesome. And so if you want that in a phone, the iPhone's really the only way to get that nowadays on a device. Now, something that's probably going to be a bummer for a good amount of people is the fact that Apple Intelligence is no longer coming in the full-fledged way that we thought it was this fall, which honestly does suck. Being someone that's utilized the AI on like my Galaxy devices, I think that's really impressive over there. There's some AI that you have over on like the new Pixel devices as well. And even though I am more of an Android guy, I was genuinely really excited to see how Apple was going to handle their AI, especially a lot of the demos that they were doing, because when Apple does big things, they do the big things exceptionally well, but you're not getting that until fall of 2025. In terms of games, we've known the past couple of years that all of the iPhone Pros and Pro Maxes can run every single game at maximum everything, right? However, and kind of like specifically last year with the iPhone 15 series, I talked a lot about how that phone got really hot really quickly a lot of the time. I can gladly say that playing games on this, I don't notice that the iPhone 16 doesn't get as warm as quickly as the iPhone 15. And what's cool is that this morning I actually woke up and saw some data that was supporting that this phone actually does stay pretty darn cool relative to other devices on the market when playing games. And so that's something that most people probably wouldn't notice on a day-to-day basis if you don't really play phone games the way that I do. But I've noticed carryover as well in other daily usage where this doesn't get as hot as the 15. And so new year, cooler iPhone is definitely a plus for your hands, and also long-term, definitely a plus for the battery life. Now in terms of screen brightness, you're getting 2000 nits, which is perfectly bright for pretty much any outdoor situation. What I can say, however, though, is that it would have been really nice to see like an anti-reflective coating, kind of like you're getting on the Galaxy S24 Ultra. It really does make a practical difference in terms of like glare when you are outside, but in terms of brightness overall, this is plenty bright enough. And so far, what I can say is that even when it is really bright outside, the phone doesn't get so warm that it kind of like auto dims itself the way that it did over on the iPhone 15. iPhones, I would say, pretty much inarguably have been the strongest pound for pound phones on the market, bar none, over the last many years, right? Even like the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, it just can't match the raw processing power that the iPhone has. Hence why you're able to play a lot of those games at like 120 frames per second at maximum everything. And yet, you still can't do basic things like split your screen in half, have a video playing in one half, doing something else in another half, or splitting the screen to multiple windows or bubbles, and plug this into a monitor and turn it into a desktop like you can on the Galaxy phones. This is more than capable of doing those things, but Apple just doesn't let you, and I think a lot of the time what it boils down to, for me at least, is that you're paying a lot of money for a phone like this, comparable money for like other phones on the market, and those things can just do more. These are great phones. They should be allowed to do more. It's like the Lamborghini in a beaten down house meme. I mean, not a beaten down house because like iPhones are really nice, but you get it. And let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are coming from like a previous iPhone, say like 13, 14, 15, or if you're coming from a Galaxy or Android device. That kind of information is helpful for me as a content creator, just knowing where you guys are coming from, what your perspectives are. And if you are new here, make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with more content like this on the channel. Now, a really small thing, I can't say that I'm a fan of this new Desert Titanium color. It's just kind of bland to me. I don't know. If I had to do it all over again, I would definitely say I think like the black titanium would be the way to go. That's a really small thing. Something that is more important though is the battery life. I've noticed that the battery life has been good. I would say comparable to that of last year's phones, where those really are very competent, pretty much all day long lasting battery life devices, unless you are doing a lot of heavy gaming or a lot of taking pictures, videos, and things like that. But this is one of those phones where like battery life for me on a day-to-day basis really isn't a big deal because I have chargers and outlets available at pretty much every single point of the day. But if you're someone that really just like you pick up your phone, you don't have access to chargers and things like that, I can say that this has so far been just as competent battery life wise as last year's phones. Camera upgrades. The 48 megapixels and ultra wide look fantastic. Absolutely a welcome upgrade on the 16 series. And something I've noticed as well is that they've done a good job improving on the HDR and balancing out like the sky highlights with the rest of the frame. That's something they got a little bit better with the 15 series and is definitely better here on the 16. And as far as the camera slider, I have to say it does work. I think it's okay. I think it's one of those things where you probably don't necessarily need it, but having it is pretty nice. However, I will say that when you are in this orientation, it's kind of awkward because it's a little bit too low. And when you're wide, it's kind of like a little bit too far up the body. It's just, it's nice. I see what they were going for, and practically in my experience, it works, but I don't know that you necessarily want to get the phone for that feature specifically. It being an iPhone, there's definitely like always sort of like a baseline level of how good this is going to be because Apple does make good products, point blank period. But it's just like there are improvements here, right? Looking at the way that this manages heat, the camera's a bit better HDR, the pictures for the ultra wide camera. And even though I don't think that this is like a massive deal, the camera slider, for a lot of people, that is going to make a positive difference. And so even though for me it doesn't make a big deal, I definitely see the practical usage. And I think practical usage in a phone is the best kind. All that being said, it still doesn't have a lot of the features on a day-to-day basis that I personally prefer Android devices for. A lot of the multitasking, split screening, bubble windows, and things like that. Again, that's not going to matter to a lot of people, but it matters to me. But thank you guys so much again for stopping by and hanging out. I wish you a fantastic remainder of your day. Again, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And as always, peace, love, adios, bye guys, and have a great day.